Hello and welcome to Bognor Herald Video News, 10th of April 2022, and I'm Jan Cosgrove. Bognor Fishing. A chance to vote for Clive Mills, local fisherman, in a national award. So watch the YouTube Back from the Brink. Also, you can find it on our Facebook page during the past week's stories, along with dozens of others. Fishing in this area goes back in terms of recorded history as far as 680 AD, when Saxon lady chief Buca, she gives her name to Bognor, owned the landing rights on the beach, then much further out than now. The video highlights the key importance of fishing as a means of sustenance and earnings right up until recent times. But, as Clive recounts, overfishing and the destruction of the marine habitat, especially kelp, caused a decline. The good news is that he and others want to reverse that decline, restore the kelp on which so many species in the local seas depend in so many ways. Indeed, Clive has returned to his boat, and there are at last sales on the promenade site of fresh fish, and we mean fresh, next to the pier. But this revival is not all there is. The potential is considerable, not only in its own terms, but as a visitor attraction, based on that long history, and that's not just the centuries back to late 7th century Saxon times, but tens of thousands of years before that, when living was made by hunter-gathering and, in these parts, fishing. Surely there is a real regeneration project there, one which reflects where we come from in this area, an occupation that has seen ice ages come and go. There's an opportunity for an interpretive visitor attraction. One also could suggest that looking at apprenticeships for young people, local young people, and investment in recalping. Maybe Rick Stein could be contacted, a destination Bognor seafood restaurant. Do vote for Clive Mills. The link is on our Facebook page on Saturday the 9th's uploads. And don't forget, we upload stories and vids every day there. News, sports, science, and so much more. Talking of Bognor regeneration, it's there in black and white from ARUN Council leader Sean Gunner. The £12 million plan funded by government money to reclad the Regis Centre is not regeneration. He confirmed this in an answer he gave to me at a recent council meeting. It's now in print. Yet this is a site zoned for regeneration. So what's going on? The Herald's campaign now is that this £12 million should be used together with money we know is there from private sources, not only to improve the theatre, but also to add other features which will enhance visitor attraction and earn money for the local economy and ARUN itself, like rents, council tax and non-domestic rates. This is a council short of money. ARUN has had, by the way, for many months ideas it asks for. A decision was made in March 2021 to set up a working party to look at the ones it had received. It has never met. That's a breach of a council decision. What is happening is that your councillors are not consulting us, which was supposed to happen. I've written to ask the Chief Executive, James Hassett, for a meeting weeks ago. No response. The Herald's proposal is this. Find out if that government money, any private investment, can be used together to get a proper regeneration on the Regis Centre site. And then to generate a fund, a regeneration surplus fund, to look at other regeneration opportunities. One being the fishing offer. Another being the pier itself, based on Bognor as the place for fun and comedy, a national centre. Maybe flats on Northampton, but with a new medical centre, plus an exhibition centre on the ground floor and a shops. After the consultation we were promised. Bear in mind that the ARUN £12 million reclad on their own admission adds little to average visitor spend per visit, admitted by them to be a low £30 or so. That's per visitor. The reclad offers just £1.50 extra per visit, and their forecast is that this would accrue just over 15 million over 30 years. That's an appalling return for £12 million input, and that's their own figures. The truth, for me, is that ARUN officers have been deflecting councillors from regeneration, advocating for their own reasons simple redevelopment instead, and, I think, have misled ARUN councillors who have been too lazy to find out the truth. It's there. Recladding is proof of that, as was the late lamented linear park, where the sunken gardens are, which would have lost 30% of that green space. I called it the linear lawn then, and some may recall we had a town electors meeting in November 2018, which shot down the lawn idea. ARUN withdrew it. Maybe we need another electors meeting on this nonsense. Why? Because ideas at that meeting form part of the current ARUN's Sunken Gardens Improvement Scheme. As always, Herald will play its part. Speaking of which, concerning the rescued Bognor Regis Youth and Community Centre in Westloats Lane, where the Herald revealed the risk of loss and helped the rescue press, I can report the new trustees are working hard with their supporters and Kes Bridger as the centre manager to give this project the new lease of life it needs. Hopefully, a summer play scheme and other holiday activities. Also, ideas for a new youth drop-in facility, picking up on the history right back from 1938, when it was specifically built as a youth club. Bognor seriously lacks such a facility, so any help volunteers and businesses can offer, this is the time to come forward. And the centre has a new Facebook page, so go look on that and make your offer there. Ukraine. More dreadful stories of atrocities. Also of offers of help from ordinary people here and elsewhere to take refugees into their own homes. It's frustrating so many good-hearted people locally, as my son Matthew knows, as he is working on such offers in East Sussex. It's the wretched visa system, and I hope to ask Nick Gibb about this in a forthcoming meeting along with regeneration matters. As for the stories, one which is about men, women and children, about 130 of them, being herded into a cellar for 28 days, jam-packed, some only brought up to act as human shields by the Russian captors. That's caught my eye. 12 to 20 have died of suffocation, etc. I'm reminded of a book published in 1944 in English, which my mum gave to me. She worked with the Polish resistance here. It was called Story of a Secret State by Jan Karski, a mild Polish intellectual. He escaped, declining hospitality by the Gestapo after their kind free dentistry of removing his teeth with pliers. He came here, worked with the Free Polish government, and the book is about that underground resistance. I was 12 when I was given it. I read it. One chapter is burned into my memory. Karski describes being smuggled into a prison camp receiving Jewish consignments. Description is vivid, and he recounts the Jews being forcibly bundled and crammed with standing space only into railway cattle trucks, babies then piled in on top of them. The trucks were sealed. The guards got on the roof of each truck, opened a panel and poured in quicklime. This reacts violently with water. Human flesh has a lot of that in it. Train trundles to nearby forests to wait some days until all are dead. Prisoners then clear out remains. Train then trundles back for new consignment. He said then people would not believe it, but that he had seen it. The first printed eyewitness published anywhere. The chapter was entitled To Die in Agony. It was not published in Poland and in Polish until after the fall of the Soviet Union and the withdrawal of the Russian occupiers. Karski never returned to Poland. He was wise. Many who did were liquidated or sent to gulags. He resumed life in the US as a respected academic and is recorded by Israel as among the righteous. Of course, Holocaust denier claimed he was never at the camp. We hear the same from Russians and their apologists, Ukraine deniers as I call them. Some years ago I sat next to Karski's bronze statue, which is located on a bench which is in front of the Madison Avenue legation in New York. This is when I received my father's posthumous award from the President of Poland. My dad also went to the US for the same reasons. Putin and Russia have to answer for these crimes. He, too, like Hitler, has mystic dreams of his country's destiny. Hitler's Aryan dream, Putin's equally vile Eurasian empire, picked up from a psychotic Russian far-right loony. The same crimes again. When refugees come here into this town to escape their misery and find shelter, good people will stand up for them and shut down the miserable few who may try to spread hate. And hats off to all correspondents like Lise Doucette of the BBC, who are there on the front line, sharing and risk and privation with Ukrainian people. Now, Bognor Rocks. Well, they drew 1-1, a late equaliser by East Thurrock yesterday. You can see a report of that on the Facebook page, and also a video interview with the manager. Well, keep reading Bognor Herald on our Facebook page. More local news from more sources than any other news outlet, and the only Bognor video news show. You'll find it full and I'm sure interesting in the coming week. So until next time, goodbye.
I've always loved fishing, I've always had a boat. It's like having a pair of shoes, having a boat for me. My father-in-law, I had the greatest respect for him, and I really did get on well with him. I can remember something he said to me. We were cod fishing just along the beach. He said, "How'd you get on?" I went, "Yeah, we've had a brilliant day today, really hit the fish today." And he opened the basket, because we used to cover them over, and he went, "What's that?" He said, "What are you doing?" "Well, how many cod are you going to catch in August?" "Well, we don't." "No, exactly. You leave your lobsters till August, catch your cod now and a few crab, because them lobsters now are gone. You're not going to catch them again in August. You can't keep fishing everything for today. There's got to be something for tomorrow." The reason I stopped fishing in 1999 was that I couldn't make a living out of it, and the weather was really bad, and we'd had 8 or 9 weeks. Bills were mounting up. I couldn't earn a living out of it anymore. How true he was. Those words really mean a lot to me, that, you know, we need to be looking after what we got, because there ain't a lot left. We want to put something back now. We want to still show that we can catch fish and there's fish to be had. We've got to give the edge. We've got to give the percentage back to the fish, not us have the percentage on the fish. Today is what we normally do. It's my fishing day. We went off and we get given what we get given. In other words, whatever swims into the net. We've managed to stop the pair trawlers. The fish life coming back inshore now is just incredible. It really is, and it ain't taken long. We have never seen so many pods of dolphins as this year. It's part of what should be out there. Everyone should be entitled to see that. The kelp beds are very important. We used to have big kelp beds inside here. That's all gone. It's literally gone. It used to be just a forest. Why is it gone? My theory is that the water temperature has warmed up, and I think kelp doesn't like the hot, warmer water. Secondly, we're getting more summer storms. So the kelp gets knocked off when it's still growing. By doing what I'm doing, which is using trammel nets, gill nets, I can go out there and earn a living selling it to these people that love it. They absolutely love it, and they will keep coming. And they're going, what are we having tomorrow, Clive? What's on tomorrow, Clive? They'd eat fish 4 or 5 days a week because it's lovely. They'd sooner eat that than eat meat.
It's not processed, it's reasonable price, and they're catching sustainably, so it's all good.
Thanks, Clive.
Thank you very much.
It's local traders, so I'm all for it.
This is what we've always done. We've always sold fish like this.
All along the south coast, there are fishing communities who are doing the same type of work, and we really should be, as residents, we really should be supporting every effort to improve the state of our coastal waters.
I want to be able to carry on doing what I've always enjoyed doing, and I would love to see 2 young, 3 young, 4 young lads come along and go, cool, we'd love to be part of that. We want to do this. This is something we want to do, you know. That's how we started. It's how Terry started, how Dick started. Within a mile of this bit of beach where we all started, we loved it. And we grew up on this beach. Look at that. How can you not want to grow up with that? It's just, wow, you don't get better than this.